What's going on, guys? Kenny here from 619 Guitars and Gear, and today we are going to dive into and check out another Firefly guitar. It is the FFLX, and this thing looks absolutely awesome for the price. So, as always, let's get into it. Alright, well, welcome back to another review video. If you're new here, my name's Kenny, and like I said, today we are checking out another Firefly guitar. It is the FFLX. Got this one on Amazon, $219. Previously, we checked out the 30-inch baritone Jazzmaster from Firefly. That one was $179. I've always wanted a 30-inch baritone, so I figured why not try it. For the price, I was kind of skeptical. I've seen a couple of reviews online that seemed to be really positive. So I kind of got it to try it and maybe have a good mod platform. And honestly, that thing was absolutely amazing for the price, and nothing on it needs to be modded. But down the road, I probably will throw some pickups and tuners and stuff on it just to make it a little bit better. So when I saw this, I loved the whole black and gold theme. So I figured, why not try it? $219, you can't really go wrong. I had my doubts, and I was overall excited to get it and try it. Now, the black and gold looks really, really good. They make a couple different colors. You have black and gold, white and gold. You have like a different white one, a more blacked out version, and then you have like a pinkish, reddish version too. So there's a couple different color options you can choose from. I believe they're all the same price, $219.91 plus tax, most likely. And yeah, so we grabbed it. It came quick, and we did the unboxing video and everything as you saw. Now, as far as specs on this thing, there really isn't much listed on Amazon or the website. You got like the different body woods and the neck wood and the fret material and stuff like that. As far as the measurements for your radius and neck thickness and all that, we'll do that when we put it on the bench. We'll just have to figure that out on our own, which is no problem. It would be nice if they listed that stuff, but it really isn't a huge deal. But let's get into the specs that we do know. Starting at the body, you have a solid mahogany body. The whole guitar is done up in this gloss black paint job. Now, from far away, it looks great. But when you get up close to it, there's definitely some imperfections. You have some sanding marks you can see underneath the paint. So just the paint prep wasn't the greatest. And then your tape lines going around the binding is not absolutely perfect. But $219, it's kind of expected. I'm more worried about if the guitar is going to play good or even be a playable instrument at all. So can't really complain about stuff like that too much. I've seen worse on a lot more expensive guitars. You have a maple set neck, 24 3/4 scale, rosewood fretboard, dual action truss rod, 22 stainless steel frets with the ball ends, which I love. I feel like you're seeing the ball end frets on a lot of more budget-friendly guitars lately. And to me, it's a great thing because it's, you know, sometimes on the budget-friendly guitars, you'll have to do a lot of fret work or fret end, filing and stuff to make them not sharp. And you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about doing it. You don't have to worry about paying someone to do it. So I've always loved the ball end frets. ERT does the same thing, and I'm sure there's a couple other companies that do it. So whatever grade stainless steel fret it is, I'm not sure. I know there's all different types of grades, but they seem pretty good, and they seem pretty level from what I could tell so far. You have these mother of pearl block inlays, and you guys know that I love block inlays. You have black side dots. Yeah, so as far as the neck, I'd say neck shape, not too thin, not too thick. It feels pretty similar to a lot of Epiphones that I've played. Has a more rounder feel, not too flat feeling or anything like that. Definitely not too thin, but it's not super like baseball bat thick. So it's super comfortable to play. Hardware wise, we have all gold hardware. You guys know how I feel about gold hardware. It looks really, really nice. It's a pain in the butt to maintain and keep nice. I'm sure there's all different qualities of gold plating. I've seen it wear out really quick, and I've seen it take a little bit longer to wear out. Eventually it will all wear out. You just have to maintain it and not put anything too harsh on it to clean it. The tuners are a generic Godo style tuner. They seem to be solid. Between the tuners and the bridge, it seems to stay in tune really well. They seem solid. They're not loose or wiggly or anything like that. So that's really good. You have a Tune-O-Matic style bridge with the tailpiece. That seems solidly quality. I mean, it's not super good quality, but it's, I'd say, definitely for a $219 guitar, it's pretty decent hardware. So that's nice. And then as far as electronics, you have what they claim to be Alnico 5 pickups. We'll plug them into the meter and see, how hot they are. They seem to be, I'd say, mediocre on the scale of being a hot pickup as far as playing in high gain and stuff like that. Those are also gold plated. Whether Firefly makes these pickups, not sure. I have not popped them out to see if there's any kind of company name underneath or anything like that. Probably just a regular generic Alnico 5 pickup. You have a 3-way toggle switch. You have 2 master volumes, one for each pickup, and a master tone. And then you have your output jack. And then, yeah, I mean, overall, it looks super fancy and high-end. And for $219, you can't really beat it. Now, let's go ahead and pop this thing on the bench so we can find out, some other stuff like neck thickness and radius and stuff like that. So let's dive right into that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and check where I have the relief set. Now, obviously, when it came out of the box, the neck was pretty dang straight, and the action was about 2 millimeters, which I feel like is super common. I always put my preferred string gauge and set the guitar up for my preferred setting. And I just feel like if you're not doing that, you're not getting a true gauge on how the guitar plays. Because if you're playing something that's not your preferred strings and not your preferred setup, it's just automatically going to give you a negative opinion on how the guitar plays and feels. So I try to just give myself the best bass possible. That way I can really concentrate on how it feels and plays and give you guys a good opinion. So right now I have the action a little bit higher than I'd like and a little bit more relief in the neck than I'd like. I don't even need a flashlight or anything because you can definitely see there's a decent amount of relief in the neck. I'd like to get a little bit straighter. I think what I'll have to do is not that there's one individual high fret, but I think, probably from like the 15th or 16th fret up towards the neck pickup, I think we'll have to just level them down a little bit, get a little bit of fret fall away on there, and that might help us out, get the action a little bit lower and get the neck a little bit straighter. But let's go ahead and check the action. It came from the factory with, it was about 2 millimeters, or 0.08, 0.09. Right now I have it, I'd say it's between 1.50 and 1.75, so it's probably about 1.65, and then I have it gradually going down to 1.50. Ideally, I like to play at 1.50 and then have it, drop down a little bit to 1.25 as you get to the thinner strings. So right now it's not horrible, but it could definitely be a little bit better, but it's playing really good right now. All right, go ahead and check the radius here. I got the strings pulled to the side. I got my Music Nomad radius gauges. We'll start at 10. Definitely don't think it's going to be 10. We'll just start there for the heck of it. Yeah, definitely a lot of light coming through there. I'll go to 12. Still some light coming through. I'm going to say it's probably 14 or 15. Yeah. 14 is definitely perfect. So I'm going to say confidently that the radius is about 14. All right, real quick, let's do width and thickness of the neck. Now my battery's died, so we're going to have to use it manually. It is a little off when it's zeroed out. It's not exactly on 0. So whatever our measurement is, pretty much going to minus it by 1. But we'll start with width here first at the 1st fret. And then we'll do the 15th fret. And then we'll do thickness. So our width at the 1st fret here. You're looking at, let's say, 43 millimeters. And then width here at the 15th fret. You're looking at 55 millimeters. So not too shabby. And I will say there's probably a millimeter or two that are being made up by how thick the clear coat is on the binding. So they put a lot of clear on it, and then they kind of shaved it down to be level with the binding when they used a razor blade to shave it down. Probably the thickest clear coat I've ever seen on a binding ever, but not too bad. It is kind of sharp. That's one thing I've noticed. But let's do thickness here. Pull these strings out of the way. So thickness at the 1st fret. You're looking at around 25 millimeters. And then let's do thickness here at the 15th fret. At the 15th, after the 15th, it kind of starts fading into the heel for the neck joint there. So you are looking at around 26 millimeters. So not too horrible. I would say that falls in between about a medium or a large thickness neck. Like I said, it's not super thin by any means, but it's not super thick. It's not a baseball bat. So not too bad as far as measurements. All right, so I was going to start with the cover off, but we have this Made in China sticker on here, and I just feel like I have not seen one of these stickers since I was a child. It was on like every toy I played with back then. I'm sure you guys can remember. So I just thought that was funny. But we got the screws out. Let's pull this off. Doesn't look too bad in here. Thin layer of shielding paint. Routes look okay. You have a big chunk missing out of the wood, which looks like maybe something happened. The router bit slipped or something. You have 3 full-size potentiometers, 1 tone, 2 volumes, most likely 500K. It doesn't say. There's no branding whatsoever. Wires look decent. Could be neater, but it's not an absolute rat's nest. Solder joints look decent. They're really light on the solder, which I would prefer over, big goobers. But some of these look like, one good bang, you could, a wire could definitely get broken loose. So it's something I'll have to keep an eye on. you know, if you're someone with this guitar and you're traveling, or, you know, bringing it around to shows and, you know, bang it around a decent amount of times inside the case, you might potentially, you know, break a solder joint. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And then the only other funky thing I'm seeing here is to tape the extra white and red wire, which you would use for like coil splitting, that would go to a push-pull. They just use masking tape, which I know it's a $219 guitar, but come on, we can do better than that. That's definitely got to be from, you know, Firefly itself, because I'm sure they didn't manufacture these pickups, but maybe they did. But masking tape. You could use electrical tape or, you know, heat shrink, but we used masking tape. So I guess that's just whatever was on the bench that day. As Phil McKnight says, maybe this was a Friday assembly. But not too horrible in here. Let's go ahead and check out this little cavity for the three-way switch. All right, so we got the screws out of here. And I'd say everything looks decent. Solder joints actually look pretty good on this one, and the wires are ran actually really neat. So you have a little bit of space in there. I'd say this looks really good. Really clean routing, a little bit of shielding paint. Not too shabby. A lot better than the other cavity, in my opinion. No masking tape. All right, so we got the guitar down. We got the meter plugged in for the pickups. We'll start at the bridge pickup here. Let me move this so you can see it. And it looks like we have 15.06 for the bridge pickup. Now these are Alnico 5s, they claim. So not too shabby. Let's try the middle. 5.25, and then the bridge. Yeah, I figured to be lower. So 8.06. So kind of around where I thought it would be. I mean, the bridge pickup is a little hotter than I expected. Especially when playing it, I felt I had to add some gain on my, you know, quad cortex or plug-in, whatever I was using. So not too horrible. All right, real quick, we're going to do a little bit of a sound demo with just the guitar. We're going to do some high gain stuff first, then we'll do a little bit of clean. Not much clean though, because it's all about high gain for me. We're tuned to drop A for a 6 string, so the G becomes an F sharp. And yeah, we're going into the quad cortex. I'm using a capture of an Engel, I don't know how to say it, iron ball head with a Fatboy Zilla 212 cabinet with V30s in it, with a 57 and a Rimmond 121 microphone. That thing sounds really, really good. We'll start at the bridge pickup and then go through all 3 different pickup positions. So let's check it out. All right, well, we went over the specs. We did a deep dive. You heard it in a sound demo and a full mix sound demo. All I can really say is times are changing. And what I mean by that is you can get an awesome guitar for not that much money nowadays. Back in the day, spending $219 on the guitar, I would be terrified if you told me that. And I would expect you to hand me something that was close to firewood, honestly, or a paperweight. Back then, it was just, you could not find a really good guitar for that price. It blows my mind how good these guitars are getting as far as playability and even cosmetically. Is this thing cosmetically perfect? No, the tape lines are pretty rough. The prep job for the paint is a little rough, but all that stuff, I mean, you can't really be super mad at when you're only spending $219. I've seen, the same thing or even worse on more expensive guitars, which, something, $600-700 I think would warrant being upset about. But on something that's $219, I just feel like your expectations shouldn't be through the roof, and you shouldn't be mad if there's a little cosmetic, issue here and there. Otherwise than that, playability-wise, if you blindfolded me and put this thing in my lap and I played it, I would not know that I was playing a $219 guitar from Amazon. I know Firefly has come a long way in the past few years from what it seems you hear other people saying. This is only my second one, and I've gotten both of these Fireflies within the last year of time span. So, I can't really be a judge on if they improved or not, but I'll just take everyone's word on it. This will definitely not be my last Firefly. I think I'm definitely going to explore and see what else is out there. Doesn't seem like there's that many models available right now, and some of the older stuff you can find on eBay, but people are asking a decent amount of money, whether it's like a discontinued model or not. I know they have like a John 5 replica, which is really cool. And like I said, this comes in a bunch of different colors. I think they have a couple strats and a couple single cuts. So definitely won't be my last Firefly. Let's talk about QC overall. As far as cosmetically, like I said, the tape lines on the bindings aren't the best. The prep job for the paint isn't the best. You could still see some sanding marks underneath the paint. Other than that, it's not horrible. The paint is really buffed out well, and it's a nice solid black paint job. It's just the prep job wasn't the best. And the clear coat on the binding is so thick. I don't think I've ever seen that before. The clear coat is almost as thick as the binding, and it's kind of sharp. So, after this video is made, I might make that so it's not as sharp, but it's definitely a pretty decently sharp edge. So that's something I would say could probably be a little bit better. Playability wise, this thing plays awesome. My only gripe was I had to make the action a little bit higher. There's not one individual high fret. I think it's just the overall, construction of the neck. Probably from the 15, 16 fret up towards the neck pickup. That could probably get leveled down a little bit and have a little bit of fret fall away or fall out, whatever term you like to use. And I think that'll allow me to be able to straighten the neck a little bit more and get the action just a tad lower. And it's only a little bit higher than I normally play at. My usually go-to action on most guitars is 1.50 millimeters. But if I can get it at 1.4, 1.45, that would be awesome. I'm not a shredder or anything like that, so I don't need my action super, super low. Other than that, the nuts cut great. Everything, electronics seems solid. The tuner seems solid. Truss rod seems to function great. The frets are great. The fret ends obviously are the ball end fret ends. Who knows what quality stainless steel they use, or if they're even stainless steel to begin with. I haven't done any kind of fret work because I don't need to really tell if it's stainless steel or not. That's really the only way to really tell, honestly. I'm sure there's other little tricks out there you could do I know magnets don't work, but we've heard Phil McKnight talk about, different ways to test if they're actually really stainless steel. So maybe down the road I'll do that. This thing is awesome. I really can't say much more. I'm really blown away with what Firefly is doing lately. And like I said, this comes in a couple different colors. Maybe I'll get a different color. Maybe I'll try to find a different model. But I just know that this is definitely not my last Firefly guitar. And trust me, guys, I spent my own money on this. I haven't communicated with Firefly once. So this is all just me saying this as a guitarist. This being blown away for what you're actually getting for, a little over $200. So not much more I can really say about it. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I know videos are pretty, sporadic, spread out, but it's just this time of year is really hard. And I say that every video. I want to get more videos out. It's just finding time is hard. I do have a couple videos planned, and I have something planned that is going to be really, really cool. I just have to figure out if I can financially do it. But if I do decide to pull the trigger, I will film the whole process from building it to ordering it to everything. I guess you guys can probably figure out what that would probably be. But I think it would be a really cool video or video series to make. And I just have to figure out if I can pull the trigger on it or not. But I do have a couple other ideas for videos coming up. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe. Be a good person. If you live anywhere close to where I live, drink water because it is hot. You can tell I look like a fishing bobber. I'm like red and sunburned and pale and white in some spots. It's ridiculous. Working outside can be rough this time of year. But it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.